Hi, friends. Welcome to OH-HighYo
Hey,
podcast. Today's
listen,
guest.
listen.
uh, Today, today's guest is an entrepreneur, community organizer, and cannabis professional with over 5 years of experience in the industry, starting as a budtender in St. Louis and working his way up to store manager. He's now on a mission to launch his own cannabis brand. Planet Nibiru, right here in Ohio. Daelin Carpenter is not just building a dispensary, he's building a movement, blending ancient inspiration with modern cannabis culture. From co working spaces for creatives to plan for premium medical cannabis products, he's moving that business. He's proving that business can be bold, community driven, and transformative. Please welcome Daelin Carpenter. Thank you
What
so
up,
much for coming on the
guy?
show.
Peace, love,
So
and unity to
happy to
everybody
have
Hey.
out
you.
there.
Peace, love, and chicken grease. That's right.
Much
Peeps.
for taking the time to just be here and share your story, share your brand, and tell us all of the amazing things you got going on. We do have our famous question we have to ask everyone first and foremost.
Okay.
Do you personally use cannabis? Why or why not?
Every day. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I will not lie to you guys. Yes, I am an active and avid cannabis user for daily things that I go through. But yes, I use cannabis on a daily basis.
Wonderful. We appreciate you sharing that. Take us back to your start in the cannabis industry. What first drew you into the space?
Gotcha. For me, cannabis has always been the common denominator in a bunch of different communities and social circles that I have personally been a part of. For me, I just always saw that cannabis, like I said, was the common theme, and whether you're into music, and then that's any genre of music, jazz, classical, hip hop, rap, pop, anything that has to do with music, it just gets those creative juices flowing, right? For me personally,
Definitely.
I'm also into like the skateboarding culture and like streetwear.
Okay.
And for something for me, cannabis always has been a centerpiece that I have personally noticed since I started smoking or started indulging in cannabis myself. So for me, it's always just been something that's been in my life. On one side of my family, not so much. They grew up on tobacco farms, so like smoking as an act was prevalent, but the cannabis side really unintentionally came from my paternal side as well. As I got older and was more freely like, this is what I do, I realized that I have a long lineage of cannabis users in my family, and that was really dope to find out. But that's kind of what it is for
Okay.
me. I just think it's a centerpiece for a lot of different communities and things that I'm into, and I haven't let it go since.
Okay. I love that. I feel like I can definitely relate. Cannabis does really bring a lot of people together all the time. It's a very common thing that you hear, from all types of walks of life. I mean, you would be surprised who you meet like through weed. So love that.
See, this
I
is cool because
agree.
I got the cousin treatment, so I was like that too, and that's how I actually got into weed with my cousins, like hanging out with them.
Yeah.
But like my whole family smoked, but it was just them that was the ones that are like, "Hey, come on, let's get into it." So it is. I understand the connection. That's cool.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
man. Family's big. Family and community, that's a big thing when it comes to the cannabis community, it's a social thing. Guys, if
Yeah.
you never met a stranger if you shared a joint with them, like it's never
Yeah,
been a thing.
that's facts.
Exactly. So you've gone from Budtender to store manager to now founder of Planet Nibiru. What were
Yes.
some key lessons you learned along that?
Okay. I knew there was gonna be some questions, but that is a good one. For me personally, when it came to at least in the professional sense of cannabis and the industry, right? I moved to at a certain point in my life. I moved to St. Louis, Missouri, and I obviously they had at least medical there at the time. I think they went recreational about the time I was moving to St. Louis, but for the most part, I thought that would have been a dream job. I've been a long time smoker and always been interested in the cannabis industry. So I applied and I got accepted. And with that coming, I have to say And I'm gonna send this to her, but hopefully Brittany Scarlett, if she is anywhere in the world watching this and tuning into Ohio TV, that was my first store manager. Shout out to Brittany. You are the realest,
Aw.
and I promise you I owe you more
No.
love than just a shout out on the podcast. Anyways, she felt the same way about cannabis that I did. There's a lot more to it than just rolling up a joint and smoking it, especially considering we were just moving from the medical side to recreational side. But I got hired on, and there's like whenever you become a bud tender, depending on what state you're in, there's a lot of information and a lot of studying and certifications that you have to have because essentially we are being a pharmacy to people that use cannabis as a medicinal product, right?
Yes.
She said you can do A or you can do B. You can do whatever you need to do to pass these tests and then just do whatever, or you can actually take this information serious and this will carry you through the cannabis industry no matter where you're at. I consider myself a well-read guy. I consider myself somebody that's very studious when it comes to topics and things I'm interested in. I'm sure a lot of people can relate with that, right? So when it came
Mhm.
to actually cannabis education, if you give me a packet about, let's be honest here, weed, marijuana, cannabis, hemp, and all that, if you give me a packet of information that's just about that, I'm going to read every page, every line, every word, and I'm going to internalize that. I'm going to study it, and I'm going to embody that when I have my interactions with our patients and our customers, right? That's what I did. I had the basic knowledge of weed get you high, there's different strains and things like that. But when it came to actual science of it, starting as a bud tender, that's where my journey of okay, it's deeper than just a plant that's cool that people like to smoke. For
Yeah.
me, learning about that led me into the actual history of cannabis, and not only in America but across the world and different sectors of different types of people. That's what drove me into that, and that led me to where I'm at now with planting Nibiru. But I started as a bud tender. I did really well. I try to do my best in everything that I do. I did really well, and then I moved to the store manager level, and then I was right there about to become a district manager, which is basically a store manager of multiple stores. But we kind of had a falling out with the VP, and the VP kind of got pushed out, and then everybody under that VP kind of got pushed out as well. And unfortunately, that left me personally without a job. And so I did move back home to my old Kentucky home. I did do that, but the things that I learned being a bud tender, the things that I learned as far as just cannabis information all come from that start of being on the ground level, right? Interacting with their patients, interacting with their customers, seeing what they like, seeing what issues they're having, and what actual specific strain or terpene profile helps them. That was the biggest thing that I learned and knowledge that I gained. And you don't always get it right, but the times you do, that makes my heart melt at the end of the day. Like
Yes.
helping somebody, especially with a plant cannabis, something that I have personally have a love and fondness for since I've first indulged, that got me. And I knew that if I ever had a chance to do my own thing or get back into the cannabis industry, I 100% would do. So that's where I'm at today.
Beautiful. So it sounds like your journey has like just given you such a huge newfound love and appreciation for cannabis and community. That's awesome. Love that. So outside of cannabis, you're an entrepreneur and a community organizer. Can you share a little about the co-working space you run and how that work ties into your vision for Nibiru?
Yeah, for sure. So officially, I am the assistant director of the Presley Post here in Louisville, Kentucky. What we are is we are a creative co-working space where we have private offices, a conference room, photography and videography studio, and we basically offer a space and a resource center for up-and-coming entrepreneurs, small to medium-sized business owners, and we just offer that space and the opportunity. Of course, we have seminars, we have different conferences that we put on, hosting in the space, whether it's be wealth building or holistic health or everything that goes into being an entrepreneur or wanting to do something for yourself. That's what we do here at the Presley Post. And I've been there for going on 2 years now. And it's something that I fell in love to. I'm what they call a serial entrepreneur. To where I'm always doing something different. I'm always starting something. And I found that the Presley Post was a place that I could do that in we had a deal going on to where I was able to host my networking event. The shout out to the Black Professional, that's still a thing. So coming 2026, we hosted a networking event, and the owner and founder Jasmine Presley, she offered me a job. And from there, I've been able to connect with entrepreneurs on various parts of their journey, whether they're just starting their LLC versus they're looking to scale their business. And being an entrepreneur myself, I knew that the struggle and the time and the research I had to do, I wish there was somebody like me that already has done these steps multiple times and let me know and navigate me and help me guide those spaces.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, starting a business is hard. Trying to go into business for yourself is hard, whether you're a service-based provider or whether you're selling a product or whatever it is, it's hard. You
Right.
have to figure out where you fit in, right? And I've done that on multiple occasions with multiple different businesses. Some successful, some failed, but that's just the name of the game, right? And so since I've been at the precipice, I've actually been in a direct position to help out people that were in a position that I was once in. So that's what I do
Okay.
outside of Nibiru Cannabis.
Okay. I love to hear that. That's really dope, honestly, because just being a resource to so many people, changes so many lives. So love that for you. You want to take it away, Will?
Yes. So we're gonna go to the next section, which is part 2, your story.
Yeah, for sure.
Break it down.
So with Nibiru, let's just take that name, right? Nibiru, an ancient Sumerian culture, which is one of the earliest cultures that our current
Mhm.
civilization can tap back into with written language and things like that, right? There was
Yeah.
always this myth, this story of planet Nibiru, and not to put my tinfoil hat on or go too far into it, right? There is, some call it Sirius X, some call it Planet X. Sometime, I think around 2012 or so, they were scared that Planet X was going to crash into our Earth and stuff like that. But in ancient Sumerian culture, there is a planet that reaches into our solar system around every 2,000 years or so, right? And with that, sorry, my dogs are getting antsy. But with that, that's where they say our origins of our current space of Homo sapiens sapien, that's where we originate from. And with that being said, that's just kind of, to me, it spells the unknown. It spells just not being afraid of looking outside yourself, but also when you look outside, you also look introspective. I'm a metaphysical person, so for me, Planet
Yeah.
Nibiru represents just maybe the fear of the unknown, and anybody that's in the cannabis industry can relate to that, to where you don't know what it is or you haven't indulged. So like, but making that a friendly space. It was never a negative story in Sumerian culture that Planet Nibiru, oh, it's coming and we're gonna die, or anything like that. It was more so of our creators in our past coming to reset the wheel of this is where we come from. This is what our tasks and our goals are for our future and who we are as a people. And I don't mean that any specific people, but people, humans in general. A lot of ancient cultures believe in Planet Nibiru and the ancient Sumerian culture. That's as far back as we can find. That's credible. So that's kind of where Planet Nibiru started, or the name Nibiru started. And I've taken that and cultivated into a cannabis brand and a name that, like I just said, just represents the fear of the unknown, but making it knowable and knowing that it's not here to hurt anyone, but it's actually a helping tool. And from my research and things that I found, that cannabis has been littered within all cultures for as long as we can remember. There's
Right.
actually, I'm throwing a left curveball right here, but there's actually studies that suggest that cannabis is not even from Earth. It's actually come from the moon, actually. So if you mix a little bit of cannabis and colloidal silver and a little bit of gold, it's actually the what they call it, the elixir of life. It's actually it's a whole nother thing that I'm not gonna get into on this podcast or anything, but cannabis has a deep rooted history in human history, and that's something I've always been connected to. And when you bring
Yeah.
in the culture and the myth of Nibiru, that's kind of where I started with my brand.
That is so dope. And there's so many things I want to
Right. I'm over
say.
here like,
You can call me after. It's okay. I'll break it down.
Like, I don't even know if these are things I want to bring up right now. It's related though. This is
Yeah.
actually cannabis related though, since you mentioned that some people don't think cannabis is from here.
Mhm.
I read a headline recently about SpaceX trying to like send seeds, like cannabis seeds, up into space.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, regardless of where
Well,
you're at, like let's say let's put it this way, right? Let's say if doomsday happens, zombie apocalypse, whatever you think the end of civilization is going to be, right? Let's say it ends today, right? You're
We will still
rebuilding.
have we'll have at
When
least
you're rebuilding, you're going to need security, you're going to need food and water, you're going to need sanitation. Those are the things, basic things you're going to need to survive because you got the plague, you got diseases and things that could happen. The fifth thing is some way to relax and take the edge off. And before there was alcohol, before there was, all those things like that, there was cannabis. And not
yeah.
only is it something that recreationally can soothe and calm the body and calm the mind, on the medicinal and industrial side, hemp is a great fiber. You can make clothes, you can make concrete, you
yes,
can do
and
a
hemp
lot of
seed.
different things with hemp itself. So that's why I personally feel like, yeah, they're going to need some cannabis seeds on wherever they go.
Is edible and is a great protein for you too. Like it has so many
Yeah.
different uses.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's amazing. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Like that's what they're up to. Like that's
Yeah,
number
I
one on
bet.
the to-do list.
I bet.
I,
I would do the same thing. I bet. So
Like
I
I
what?
don't want to
Okay.
think any. I don't want anybody to think I'm crazy or anything like that. I
so
promise you,
we
I'm
in the
very
realm of the
grounded in this
strange.
reality. But I can
This
go
is where
there for
we
those
at.
that.
Fair.
We're in the realm of the strange. This fits the question, which is actually pretty funny. What makes you different from other cannabis companies? What is your vision for patents and the community that you'll serve?
Patience.
Sorry, patience. Sorry, I
Okay.
read it wrong. Patience. Yes.
Where I would say I'm different, or the company that I'm building and planning Nibiru is going to be different. Of course, everybody says they're community based, want to build a family around the brand and around the cannabis and things like that. But where I personally feel like me, DJ, can make the biggest impact is on the dispensary level. From the moment that the product gets put into the hands of the patient and or customer, that is where I can make the biggest difference, right? So the same way how I said when I came into the cannabis industry, I was handed a packet of information and you can either just get what you need to know to pass the test or you can actually study it and embody it, right? I can promise you right now, there's not going to be anybody that works under Planet Nibiru Cannabis that is not going to embody that information and know it. At the end of the day, this is a plant that has been put here for our nourishment, for our enrichment, and to help us. So there's not gonna be one person that's gonna work with Planet Nibiru and not have that knowledge and not have that sacredness for the plant and what it can actually do for people. And what that looks like is knowing the value of things like terpenes, terpene profile, knowing the value of cannabinoids and percentages and how that actually goes into the entourage effect and how that all comes together. There isn't going to be anybody that's going to work with me that's going to not fit that bill, right? And what that's going to look like is when you come into the store, when you come to get some Nibiru cannabis, I'm going to be asking you more questions than you're going to be asking me, right? I'm going to need to know
Right.
what's going on with your life, what's your diet like, what do you have going on, and how can the products that we offer and the different specific products offer based upon your way of life and your lifestyle, right? So not everybody's going to want to vape. Not anybody's going to be strictly flower, even though I am a flower head and I'll be the last one standing if it ever comes down to it. I know probably in 20 years when we have Wi-Fi, THC, and all that good stuff, we'll be able to do a lot of different things. But I'm going to be a pure naturalist type of guy. So whether you're into flower, whether you're into edibles, whether you're into concentrates, whatever it may be as far as your chosen mode of consumption, just know not only are you going to be able to get whatever you need, you're also going to get a professional recommendation, or what I would call a professional recommendation on what exactly is going to work for you. You can choose to take the information or you can choose not to, that's up to you. But I want everybody that works with me and that works at Planet Nibiru to have an understanding of the gravity of the things that you ingest into your body and the way that actually works with your nervous system and your endocannabinoid system, of course. But that's going to be the difference. Truly standing on the fact that every transaction could be the make or break with somebody's relationship with cannabis. That's going to be the line that I'm going to hold dearly to my heart. That would be the main difference. Me having my personality and things that I'm into, I'm not going to let anybody that's associated with the brand not have that same love and revere for the plant and not have that same level of education, because it's not hard to read. Reading is fundamental, and understanding where
Right.
that kind of falls into, I think that's important, and that's something that you're going to get every time you have a transaction or interaction with planting the bureau.
I love that.
Okay.
I think that's dope. I think that is severely missing in the industry right now. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. It's just dispensaries don't care enough to foster like a continuing education of any kind with their staff, and they're just hiring, anyone that, they don't even know what terpenes and they don't even know the difference, you know what I mean? Like, so I definitely appreciate you saying that. Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy because when we go up there and we see the folks from the Cannabis Museum, that always brings me back to that because they're always very much craft growers and they're always talking about like their strain of weed and how much have you smoked? How you been doing? Have you tried any new weed? Well, try this and then compare it to this. And they're always asking me how I feel when I smoke. And that's the one thing I've always taken from those conversations and how I'm feeling while I'm smoking and how you're doing in the process of going on the journey of actually being able to consume and use it. So like the people who actually care about those things. We just don't see enough of it in those stores. Yeah.
True.
I would agree, man. It's just, I also
Yeah,
took
it's not
that from that
everyone.
trip up to the Cannabis Museum as well. If you notice, I was doing a lot of quiet listening rather than talking and explaining what I think is the best cannabis or anything like that. But you'll learn, especially people that have been involved with cannabis a lot longer than you have, you'll learn a lot if you just listen. And what better environment to listen to than when you got a J floating around, of different weeds you never, or different marijuana that you've been ingested before, What is a better time to just shut up and listen? It's not
Yeah.
about a respect thing. It's not about, listening to your elders or anything like that. But if you truly care about cannabis and the plant and what it can do for people, you're going to pay attention to people who've been doing it longer than you and people who just maybe just do something different than you, you know?
Yeah. I feel it. But so you're working with former guest Gabrielle Larson of Your
Heck
Highness
yeah.
Consult. Okay.
hmm
She's pursuing a license in Ohio. What's that process been like so far?
Well, with Gabby, it makes it easy. With Gabrielle, it's as easy as do you want oranges or apples? She makes it very easy. Me, I'm a very
She's
decisive
very
person when it
bubbly,
comes.
bro. She's very bright, so I can see that. She's very
Yeah.
like upbeat.
You don't think I look forward to our weekly and bi-weekly meetings? You don't think I'm
I
excited?
know you get excited. You
She's
go, yeah,
awesome.
let's get it.
She's awesome. But I would say the progress for me has been a lot easier than I would say somebody
Mm,
doing it maybe by themselves. Having somebody like Gabby who's already not only invested in the growth of cannabis in the industry, right, but somebody who knows exactly what you need to do, what those proper steps are. That has been honestly a game changer for me. I don't know if I already went into it or not, but I tried to do the same thing I'm doing for in Ohio. I tried to do that in Kentucky, but there were some pitfalls and things that came about that I wasn't expecting. That with Gabby and at least with her knowledge on what the proper steps are has been a game changer when it comes to starting up in Ohio. So for me, I would almost say it's easy. It's not easy doing the individual tasks as they come up, but as far as the process and knowing what needs to be done, it's been a piece of cake, And I always love having somebody else on the team or somebody else that I'm working with that not only knows what they're doing, but understands what it takes to get there. If I have to call Gabby in the middle of the night, or if I have to send an email, or if I'm whatever it is, she understands that I'm doing this in whatever spare time that I have. But ultimately, it's a dream and a goal of mine that I want to get to. So, with her being willing to work with me and work with my time schedule and work with everything else I got going on, has been really the game changer for me. Yeah, I would anybody that's looking to get into cannabis or get into the cannabis industry, take it as serious as you would whatever the highest level industry you could take it, because it's that serious. but also finding other people that share the same values and principles as you is also a game changer as well. Cannabis is a community thing, so finding your community and finding people you can work with is the most important
Yeah,
part.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Love
So
that.
your goal is to open in 2026, right?
Yeah. The
Okay.
goal is to open doors on 2026. I'll go ahead and give what that looks like. So I believe I'm a Libra. So my birthday's in October 21st to be exact, actually. But I'm looking to do a family and friends thing and do a soft opening. But I'm hoping, and I really hope this is what's going to be October 31st, a Halloween grand opening. That's what I'm going for in 2026. Prizes and all that good stuff. October 31st is when we should be opening our doors to Planet
That's
Nibiru and Nibiru
lit.
Cannabis.
Okay.
So don't quote me, but you can quote me because I like to hold myself accountable as much as I would anybody else. So that's what we're looking at in 2026 to open up a dispensary. Also opening up actually production as well. We also want to get into shout out to Organic Green Thumb. I got Jaja the Grow God. Shout out to him. I'm planning on him being my master grower. But we also want to open up into the production line as well. I believe that you can apply for a dual license. So not only will we be providing the best and most quality and most ethical cannabis products that you can find in Ohio, we're also going to throw our own hat into the ring as well and hopefully provide that to other dispensaries and other companies as well.
All
Nice.
right. So that's the finish line. So let me ask you this. Some people don't understand what goes into actually building a company. What are some of the challenges and especially the financial challenges you've taken so far to get to where you are now on this journey?
Okay, yeah. I won't,
I'm gonna
and
flip
for
it on you.
anybody that's
Flip
out
it.
there looking, I won't say exact numbers, right? I won't say exact numbers, but on the financial side, I would say it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot, but you don't have to do this all by yourself. Some of the struggles that I've seen is getting in just into the something as simple as mindset, getting into the mindset of I can do this and I can raise this amount of money or find this many investors for this dollar amount. That was a little bit of a struggle for me, but being a serial entrepreneur with my background, which is how business goes in general, I'm not afraid to fail. So that's one for when you see or you hear about that first number, what it might actually cost to open up a dispensary. That's gonna be the first thing that people just it is what it is. I'll keep it in the streets or whatever you wanna whatever your level of cannabis is, right? But for me, that was a hurdle that I had to jump over, make sure that that's something that I wanted to do. Being aware of the DCC and the laws and regulations and everything you actually have to have in place before you even apply. You need to know
Mm.
everything that you need to
Yeah.
have before you're ready to apply. Don't think that you're gonna just, oh, when they release it, then I'm gonna apply. You're not gonna get in. You're not gonna. You have to know everything that you need beforehand and have it in place beforehand before you put in the application because you're gonna be a very sour patch kid if you don't have everything in a row. And honestly, that's gonna be the separation between you actually getting granted that license and just not being able to participate at all. So those are a
Mm.
couple of things that I had to make sure were my ducks in a row. And then finding people like you guys and finding people that's going to get your name out there and starting things like brand awareness and making sure that your website's together and making sure that everything like people know who you are, and those I would say most of those things are what have been the biggest hurdles that I made sure to jump over.
Gotcha. So as you're looking forward, what type of investor partners or supporters are you hoping to connect with through the process? Like what type of people are you looking to find?
Well, I would say I'm kind of split on that, right? And I hate to be that guy, but on one hand, I would want anybody and everybody that is invested in the idea of cannabis and the benefit it can bring to people, and anybody that's willing to help me and help my team bring this idea, this brand to life, right? That's on one side of it, right? On the other side, when you're actually looking at those numbers, I'll take anybody. If you got the dough, you got the money to play, man. You're getting your returns. So I am looking. Ideally, both would be great, right? If we could have both, like people who have the money, but also have the idea of what cannabis can do for people, right? I want to have both, but realistically, we're looking for two types of investors. We actually have two tiers going on right now. I don't really want to say the actual numbers on what I have on there because they are accurate, but I'm gonna wait to do an actual thing and put that out there. You guys will
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that. Check
yeah.
out Ohio TV, and you'll check it. You'll see it. But we are offering two tiers. The first tier is going to be a higher money investment, higher dollar amount, but you'll get more return. You'll have a bigger stake in the company. And then we have a second tier that's not as much money as the first tier, but you'll get a little bit less return, and a little bit stake in the company. But we are open to investors as of right now. I am finding a few people to get letters of intent and things like that. So no numbers. I'm sorry, but no numbers specifically. But if you're an investor, if you're anybody that's into venture capitalism or angel investors or anything like that, and you're looking for your end to get into cannabis, Planet Nibiru and Nibiru Cannabis is going to be your way to go. Not only do we have somebody that's speaking of myself, not only do we have somebody that's invested in the actual culture of cannabis and knows what they're doing and has been on the ground level of the cannabis industry, Ohio specifically has very high projections and current capital of cannabis sales and overall returns across the nation. Me and Gabby were just talking about this. Like, when she told me the numbers and the projections on what Ohio has already done and what they're supposed to do in the next coming 5, 10 years, I thought the number was high, but I asked her, "Is that high?" She's like, "Yeah, it's high compared to other places around the nation." So Ohio, not only just between cannabis, but as an industry and as a bubble that's looking to grow, it's actually very high compared to a lot of different places. It's a great time to get in, and if you're looking for somebody to root for, if you're looking for somebody that's going to get your returns, not only that, it's going to treat this business and treat this industry like it's my own flesh and blood. I'm your guy. If anybody is
Yeah,
interested in getting involved, you can email me at Nibiru Cannabis Company at Gmail. You can send us a message on Instagram, Nibiru Cannabis. I also have my phone number that I put out there as well. I'm open to any and everybody, but ideally we want to have both people with the dough and people with the heart.
Good point. A little balance. You need that balance.
yeah,
Ideally,
look,
yeah, for
yin and
Yeah.
yang.
exactly. You gotta have that duality. It's all life's about, man. Duality.
I hear you.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for throwing that out there. And just to be sure, everyone that's listening, Nibiru, that's Neb.
Make sure you spell it right.
Different spellings,
Yeah.
and that's because of the Sumerians back in the day. They
Come
had
on.
different letters than what we had, but I chose this one because it was different than all the other ones. So yes, Nebi.
Nice. Moving on to broader impact, community, and industry. You've been deeply involved in entrepreneurship and community building. How do you see Planet Nibiru contributing to the local community beyond cannabis products?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, cannabis to me is a community driver. It brings people together. You know, you could be from all different walks of life, and if you indulge in cannabis, then we have something in common that we can figure out, right? We can at least have a conversation. So using that as a platform, I see all the different. There's a few different sectors and ways of living that are coming about. A lot of more people are being more conscious of their health and things that they're ingesting and things that they're going through, especially post COVID. A lot of
Yeah.
people are more aware of things that they have going in and out of their body. So healthy eating, healthy living, what it actually takes to have a healthy body that's gonna stand, being mobile, whether that's yoga or just taking a walk around our neighborhood, or the value of communication, the value of having people around you that are positive that can feed life into you. Those different things. I plan on having a bunch of community events that could be cannabis based, but can be outside of cannabis. But what I've learned is that we all want to live a long, happy life, right? Everybody wants to be happy and everybody wants to be here to live that happy life, right? So
Right.
anything that falls under that is what I plan on building, only Planet Nibiru's community around. Just in general, those are the type of people that I surround in my life. I could probably count on one hand how many true friends I consider, and at that point, they're considered family, right? So I
Right.
plan on doing events if there is anybody that does juicing like with fruits and stuff like that, or if I know any farmers. I actually have a really good friend. His name is Jalen. He does farm to table holy soul food, but he has things like pasture raised, farm to table beef and bison, and he does
Mm,
localized honey. Because if you didn't know, you can't just eat honey from anywhere. You can, but it's better to eat it
better for you.
yeah, it's better to have it from your local community, right? Because with the pollen traveling, you're actually ingesting your environment, right? So those little
Hmm.
educational tidbits, and actually, it's like stuff like fish is okay, but what kind of fish you're eating? Beef is okay, but what kind of beef are you eating? We're actually on this side of the hemisphere. We're actually more have a natural affinity just from our biochemistry from nature, right? We're actually more closer to eating like bison or like actual different types of beef rather than just a regular cow or rather than just eating chicken. You know, I love chicken. No, don't get me wrong. I love chicken, and I know a lot of people do love chicken, right? But that's not the only form of poultry and only form of things you can eat. And if you actually align with what you're geographically supposed to based upon what grows and what is actually naturally found there, you'll be surprised in the changes and the things that will happen in your life just by aligning yourself more with the earth's natural atmosphere of what's around you, right? So outside of cannabis, I plan on bringing not only that education to life, but centering community-based events around that and bringing anybody and everybody to the table that has that same mindset, whether you already have a product or a service that you like to offer or you're looking for those products and services to offer. Plan to be in the middle of that and just be a very big cultivator of that community. That's what I plan to do outside of and that's something that I've learned from being an entrepreneur and being somebody that organizes events and things like that. You just need to find that common factor with people and they'll come. You'd be surprised
Hmm.
on the different kinds of people you can connect if you can find where they relate at. And that's all human connection to me. That's all about how do people relate. And if you can find that common denominator in that whole situation, then people will come.
Yeah.
I love that because, like, sharing weed or coming together, like, over weed is kind of like breaking bread with people almost. And I feel like that's awesome. Like, building community centered around wellness, plant medicine is exactly what everybody needs. So we appreciate that. That's a great
I would
vision. I can
agree.
see that. So, with your experience across states, how do you think Ohio's cannabis industry is shaping up compared to places like Missouri or Kentucky?
Well, I would say what I've learned being a native born Kentuckian, I would say you don't really like because Kentucky has so many different cultures. Like we have the Southern swag, you could say the dirty South, but we also, when it comes to industry, we have a very Midwestern based industry because we're where that line connects, right?
Mm.
But you don't think about other places that are in that same kind of predicament, which what I'm alluding to is Ohio. Ohio has a very deep culture in everything sports, cars, agriculture, food. It's been a center place that's really not that far from Kentucky. That from doing my research and obviously trying to get into the industry there and just trying to do business there, I've learned that Ohio has a deep rooted history as deep as Kentucky as well, if not more, that I'm super excited to tap into. I would say the
Yeah.
differences on the cannabis side is just the potential for growth and being in the central location of where it's at across
Yeah.
Ohio. I didn't think that many people enjoyed cannabis in Ohio, to be honest with you.
Really?
But yeah, I didn't think about it. I don't go past Cincinnati, so I don't know. I don't know.
Fair.
But that trip to Athens as well from that seeing that museum and what they have going on and just understanding doing
Mm.
further research, I feel like Ohio has a very special and unique opportunity to not only become a very big mecca of cannabis and cannabis related community and industry from a money side and from a cultural side, but just culturally as in general, right? That's really middle America when you think about it. Like that whole
Right.
like Ohio
We're the
and Kentucky
heart.
included. We're like it's right there, you know?
We
And I
are
think
the
that
heart of the United States.
I'll let you have it. It's your podcast, but uh, Ohio has a really unique opportunity to really show some things that I don't think have ever been done. I think the strains and the flower that's going to come out is going to be completely different. And to me, cannabis is just another way for the state to make money and actually improve upon itself. So I'm excited to see how that's going to go with better school programs, better roads, better whatever they want to spend the money on. I just think it has a opportunity. And thinking about it, if you think of like somebody from LA, right? What do they know about Ohio? Somebody in New York, what do they know about Ohio? Somebody in Florida, some of these more prominent places that are known worldwide, like as far as the city and place to be. Ohio has a chance to make one of the biggest statements across the board as far as this is who we are and this is what we have to offer, you know. So that's one thing I've learned with dealing with Ohio and trying to break into the industry.
That's solid. Yeah, I definitely feel like Ohio is underestimated. So I think we'll play that to our advantage, hopefully.
Hell yeah, as you should. We
Huge fan
should.
of the community, man. Like the community, the cannabis community up there. Once you really get involved with the folks, they're great people. They're
Hmm.
fantastic people. Everybody's fantastic
We do
people.
have a lot of heart. We do.
Hmm.
And being so close to Kentucky as well. Is that a sound bowl?
With that being said,
Also, that's fire.
we are going to transition to our next segment, the Hemper's House. Thank you so much for being here.
She snuck that on in there. She was like, "Wait a second."
Hell yeah, I love it. I love it. What's up? Talk to me.
Yes, thank you so much for being here, DJ. So, the Hemper's House, we like to take a moment to stop, take a deep breath, reflect, and be mindful and just grateful about our personal relationship with cannabis. So, I just have a couple questions to kind of just change up the flow.
Yeah.
So you did mention that you use cannabis every day, of course. You know, my first question is really simple. Like, how would you describe your cannabis use? Could you describe it as recreational or would you describe it as medical? Do you have a spiritual relationship with cannabis?
Yeah, all the above. I would say best way to put it is I use medicinal cannabis recreationally. If that makes sense, right? I am a daily user of cannabis in various forms, right? But for me,
Yeah.
so and this is the part where I try not to be too sad or anything like that, but just to give you a history of how I use it, right? I started smoking in between the seventh and eighth grade. Pretty early on, I don't advise anybody to do that. I advise you to wait till you're 21 legal of age and go get something that's legal. But regardless or not, I have been using cannabis for a long time. I was an athlete, football, basketball, track, baseball, all those good things, right? And when it came to recovery, when it came to pain relief, when it came to anything, cannabis was something that I found early on that helped me specifically. Now, that being said, I am an asthmatic. I actually have chronic asthma, and I've been diagnosed with chronic asthma since I was 6 weeks old. And
Oh,
I could never understand why I enjoyed smoking and indulging cannabis when I'm an asthmatic, right? But what I came to find out that not only is stuff like CBD and hemp flower and things like that, they're actually bronchodilators. But once you get into the actual science of it, there are certain terpenes and profiles that are actually more bronchodilative that actually open up your lungs. So if you're smoking clean cannabis out of a clean source, whether that be a glass pipe or whether that be a paper joint, if you're indulging cannabis at the purest form, the stuff you're coughing up, of course, is the smoke, but you're actually getting rid of the gunk and things in your lungs. It's actually a helping tool that you can find in nature, and I always thought that was really cool. But with me being asthmatic, of course, I wanted to get away from smoking just as an ingestion method in general. So that's when I started figuring out things like edibles and concentrates and vapes and things like that. My older brother, we're brothers by father. We're the same father, not the same mother, but his mom, unfortunately, she passed from bone cancer. And while she was in the hospital the last few months, he was able to sneak in some vapes and some edibles and some things like that, because what he noticed was, of course, you have chemotherapy and stuff like that, but all the medicines and all the treatments and being up all night and you can't really get sleep because you have to take tests and things like that. He he found that she wasn't really getting that relief that we ultimately I didn't know him then, but ultimately he wanted for her. But once he
Mhm.
started introducing cannabis into the picture, he saw, and she was able to vocalize. She started eating more. She needed less of the morphine and the painkillers and all those things. And this is the story I heard third hand once I actually met my brother on that side, that he told me. And me being, because he didn't even use cannabis himself, but he just heard that that may help, and he was willing to take that risk. Hearing that solidified the use and the benefit of cannabis for me and for my family and those that I care and keep close to me. And that's really what I look at cannabis as. It's just a tool. It's a plant that was here that grows out of the earth. So why not use it for various things? If I have a tummy ache, okay, I may smoke a little bit just to kind of ease my body and get into
Mhm.
relaxation. Need to if I'm trying to gain weight, or if I'm trying to eat, and maybe it's not the most delicious thing on earth. If I take an edible, I'm gonna tear it up, whatever it is. There's
Yeah.
ingestion, I'm gonna figure it out, right? There's
Definitely.
various ways of ingesting and actually indulging in
Mm.
cannabis that if you learn what is possible, you're able to use it for so many things in life that from the moment on that I started using it in that way, I believe in it wholeheartedly. I'll go to bat for it. I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure people at least know that this exists. And today's
Yes.
times with big pharma and with everything that's going on, especially COVID, opened up eyes to a lot of people, on what actually is going on with certain medicines and compounds and things like that. I think it's a lifesaver, and consider it's been around for as long as human history is that we can record and recollect. I think that really hit home for me. And that was a long answer to your question, but yeah.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
you felt that right there. That was straight from the soul.
I'm trying not to cry,
Sure.
bro. I can't do it on the podcast. They laugh at me, but.
No, we
No,
appreciate you
no, no, no.
sharing
We
that.
appreciate it. No, no. Yeah, it's the Empress house.
And that's
So
very valuable, and it's valuable to the listeners to hear,
Yeah,
those
it is.
life-changing stories about how cannabis has helped so many people for the better. That's what literally why we're all here right now. So we can definitely resonate with that. We appreciate you sharing that. And then I do just have one last question.
what's
It's
up?
a little bit lengthy of a question, so kind of just follow along here. If you could
Gotcha.
imagine cannabis, the plant, as it is a divine example of Mother Nature, just in the flesh for us. And let's say Mother Nature had some words of wisdom that she's trying to convey to society, to the community, maybe to you personally. What do you think those words are?
Great question.
Thank
Great
you.
question. There's a few
You've been getting.
different.
She's been cooking with this question, man. Because this is where it
No,
gets
that's
deep. You be like,
fire.
ooh,
I'm a fan of the show too, so I noticed. That's
yeah, she
awesome.
gets
And
cooking
you
on
would
this one.
think I'd be prepared for when the question gets asked to me, but let me see. There's a few there's a few different quotes that come to mind, or specific words. One part of it would be, it's actually what's it called? I think it might be Lion King with Timon and Pumbaa, but or it might be no, it might be the Jungle Book. But don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be
Don't
happy.
worry,
Definitely.
be happy.
Yes. And that's
Got
so
your
But I
back.
would
simple, but I
I
love
think
that. Pure.
yeah, don't worry, be happy. As much people like to say life is short, it's not for everybody. And if you believe
Yeah,
in things like reincarnation, or you believe in past lives, or just the fact that we've been doing this society and human race thing for a very long time, and longer than what people expect or people like to think, I would say don't worry, be happy. But what would cannabis say to me specifically? All the power and all the things that you need are within you. It's already built
Yes.
in. It's already my media brand is called Always Look Inward, and that's a motive that I always think about is you already have the things. You are already the person that you want to be. You just have to think about what that person will be doing and already do those things. So don't worry, be happy. and always look inward. Always look within yourself for the answers to life's greatest questions because it's already within you. The fact that you're
Yes,
thinking and asking those questions already mean you're already on the right path. Because if you already
literally.
knew the answers, then you wouldn't have the question, right? So the question is the answer at the end of the day. Believe in
Mm,
Yes.
yourself. Always look inward. Always
mm.
do the things that you think you need to do to get to where you want to be, and you'll get there. Just don't be in a rush. It's okay to slow down. Everybody knows when you get a joint or two, or whenever you get into cannabis, that time slows down a little bit.
It
You
sure
know, you
does.
kind of find that
No.
space, and I feel like that's the ultimate message that you're bigger than yourself. Be kind to one another. Make sure you're aware of your surroundings and the people you're with and everything that goes into that. But also, don't be too hard on yourself. Believe in yourself. You got this. All the answers are already within yourself. Don't worry. Be happy.
Okay, I love that so much. That really
So
came
that's
through.
I'd say that's top five answers in what we've done. That was pretty
Yeah,
good.
you really channeled
Don't say
that.
that, man. Now I'm about to go back
Did
through
that,
the
bro.
episodes and categorize and rank myself. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You really channeled that. No, honestly, and I've gotten that same message from cannabis as well, that everything that
Mm-hmm.
you're looking for is within you already. Yeah,
Of course.
definitely.
Of course.
Love that. On to
All right.
Rose Corner.
Okay. Well, as you can see, all the toys behind me here, got a good
Hell yeah.
setup. My guy, Green Arrow right over here, always
Shout out
representing
to
with
Green
me.
Arrow.
Hey, comic book.
Underrated hero, by the way.
Thank you. See, I like the compliment. Okay, we're in a good zone already. Do you like superheroes?
Hell yeah. I don't know if I can
Okay.
cuss on here, but hell yeah.
Okay. So who's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero, and this is not even a thought for me, it's the Incredible Hulk.
Hope. Okay.
Okay.
So what one characteristic that you can see yourself in real life having that's important for you to have from your favorite character? Like what's one thing that you can take from your
Yeah.
favorite character that you can
Mm.
actually implement and use in real life?
Yeah, I got one. Because it's actually the very reason why I like the Hulk, right? That's actually a dope question. I appreciate
That
that.
is a good question.
So
Hmm.
for me, the Hulk, his power is right. He turns rage into power, right? And
Yeah.
essentially, canonically, there's nothing that can stop the Hulk once he reaches his power. He only gets stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the transmutation of energy into power, right? For me, whenever I get sad or angry or something really grinds my gears, I take that time to sit with that feeling and figure out where I can take that energy and make it something positive, right? Because at the end of the day, the Hulk's a member of the Avengers. He's a little reckless, yes, he does, kind of crush some things, but so does Superman, right? The thing about the Hulk to me that stands out is the fact that he owns his downfalls, but he turns them into power, right? And essentially, because he can do that, there's nothing he can't do. So for me, the transmutation of energy and being able to take something that may be possibly negative but turning into a positive is something that I try to do every day with my daily life. If anything was to, excuse my French, but piss me off or make me upset or make me sad or anything, I take a moment to sit with that and figure out how I could take that energy and to make it into something positive. Because at the end of the day, if I only want positivity to come to me, I have to put that out into the world, right? So
Mm.
that's what I would say with the whole combination and everything. That's what I would say. That's the biggest thing I connect with and identify with.
Killed that. You killed that. That's
Love
yeah. That's
that
no. That's
answer.
fantastic. That's a great answer, and that's kind of the reason why I like Ollie because Ollie's all he may be indecisive, right? He may have a lot of issues that he goes back and forth on, but at the end of the day,
Hmm.
he's always looking for the right answer. So he may mess up, he may fail, but the failure is where the lesson is. You see what I'm saying? So like, it's really important for him to get the lesson and to carry on because if he doesn't, he's not doing the will of living. You see what I'm saying? Not being a human. Hey, you can live through anything, no matter whatever it is, and that's the reason why I like Green Arrow, and that's my embodiment of Green Arrow. You know what I'm saying? Just keep going. It's gonna get rough, man. It's gonna be hard, but just keep going. You know? Yeah.
And his car is the Green Hornet, right?
Yeah, it's like so he's got the Arrow Cave. Yeah, we're talking Golden Age. He's got the Arrow Cave. He's got an Arrow car. This is called. I think it's just called the Arrow car. He's
Okay,
basically
yeah, yeah,
Batman.
yeah. I
He's
was
like
about to say he's
Batman.
kind of got top car. It's on par with the Batmobile because you know the Batmobile
Yeah,
changes and everything like that, but his car
yeah.
is bad.
It's more motorcycles nowadays. So like now he's all got
That's true.
the aero cycle and stuff like that. So they focus on that. So let me ask you this. I'm gonna flip it. Leading, who would be your dream team? Either DC or Marvel. Top five in that team. So it's gonna be a team of five.
Damn it. So wait. So I gotta pick a top five.
You got it's basically either a top. So it's like Hulk, and who would you have with the team of Hulk? It doesn't necessarily have to be a top five, but who would
Okay.
you have in the team of Hulk?
Okay. And I'm kind of building my Avengers Justice League team. I can pull
Yep,
from either
yeah,
one.
you're hand picking. You're hand picking.
Okay. So Hulk, Batman,
Okay.
Green Lantern,
Okay.
Doctor Strange. I gotta have a wild card. Even though the Hulk is a wild card, he's not
Uh-huh.
a wild card because that's why I have Batman. Batman always has a plan for everybody just in case, but he's able to pull the plans together, right? But my
Yeah.
wild card, I would have to be screw it, T'Challa.
T'Challa?
Black Panther, screw it, yeah.
That sounds like a solid like assault team.
Yeah. Don't call us if there's not an issue. Don't call this team if you are like it's a social issue. No, we're talking about somebody needs to be taken care of. You call this team. This is the Blackout
Yeah.
Squad. This is like we're not here to solve social justice. That's not what my team is for. You can call the Avengers. You can call the Justice League for all that good stuff. But for my team, we're coming to handle stuff like if we're the biggest force that is very like the biggest force that like you're probably not going to beat them in a fight in a physical assault, then just know that if anybody gets out of line, that's who we're calling. So that should keep everybody in order, right?
They're heavy powered, so that's like that's a team you don't really want to mess with, man.
Not at all, bro. Not at all. Because we got I think I said Doctor Strange too. So we've got the mystical element of it, so we can kind of get into that. But then we have some powerhouses. Then we have a Batman, the ultimate strategist, the best detective. Better than Sherlock Holmes, you've asked me, and then he always has a
Mm-hmm.
plan to keep his own people in check. So that would be my Red Power Ranger right there. Batman would lead the team, but then we got something for everybody as well. And then of course,
Yeah.
I like T'Challa as my wild card, just because he's gonna do whatever for the team, but he's not gonna put that over Wakanda, right? So he has ulterior motives that to me are still positive. He has something to fight for. That's also what I
Mm-hmm.
like, about T'Challa
Yeah.
and Black Panther. He actually has people and things that he cares about outside of whatever the superhero team and Shield and what they got going on. So yeah.
I got you. All right. That's all I got. That's Will's corner.
Yeah.
Bree's like over here, she's like, man, I'm amazed.
I'm
Will's
glad you didn't
corner's
ask me about
over.
anime,
This
bro,
isn't
because
my
we'd have been here for
time.
another hour.
Yeah, I don't even try to get into it because I just know it's not my time to ask.
And you asked some deep questions too as well. Y'all are both awesome at this, so I'm glad that you
Thank
guys
you.
are doing this.
Thank
I'm
you.
able to get on the platform as well.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
we're happy to have you.
All right.
Wrap
The
up.
last Yeah. So what's next in the coming year, man? And how can we support you? How can we connect? Give us your platform. Let us know how we can get to you.
I got you. So, of course, you can follow us on. We're currently on Instagram, but we're working on all the social media platforms for the cannabis brand. But you guys know how hard it is to do anything cannabis related in social media. But you can
Yeah.
follow us and look us up on Planet Nibiru or Nibiru Cannabis. That's the ad name on Instagram. The website is live. It is not completed, but you can go check it out at planetnibiru.com. You can kind of see the bio and everything that we have going on. We are currently accepting investors for Nibiru Cannabis. If you're an investor or somebody that just has, a little bit of cash flow that they want to put somewhere and get some great returns and also invest in somebody that's deeply invested personally into the cannabis industry, hit us up whether you want to leave us your information on planetnibiru.com or send us a message on Planet Nibiru, Nibiru Cannabis on Instagram. We're waiting for you guys. I also do want to plug my media and digital marketing platform, Always Look Inward. If you're anybody that's looking to get connected or looking to get their platform out there, you just want some exposure, As long as our visions align, there's no money involved. I'm strictly there to put other people on and other people's ideas. So that would be always looking more on Instagram. It's also ALI tweets for you on Twitter. And we do have a YouTube page. Always looking word on there as well. Again, my name is Daelin Carpenter, DJ Nibiru, DJ Carpenter, whatever you want to call me. DJ is what I go by most days. I'm a man of many names, but you can also follow me on Instagram as well. That's Daelin Carpenter, Daelin Carpenter, like Jesus, on Instagram and on Facebook as well.
I appreciate you, man. Killed that all in one rap. So let me ask you this. All right, last question. Who would you like to see on the podcast next? Just if you could throw a name out, who would you like?
Okay. So I'm gonna give you two answers, right? One answer would be I want to see you guys interview yourselves and your own personal journeys in cannabis.
I'm already on the podcast, so
Bree was actually, I think she's like one of the first guests.
Okay. So just the Ohio TV and like make sure you guys document your journey and your process with where you guys are going. That'll be one. Who I would want next on the podcast, honestly, you guys need to have Jaja on. Jaja, the Grow God, Organic Green Thumb. My guy Ant that put me onto. I don't know if you guys have ever met him. I think Bree, he was at the launch event. Tall guy with locks. He probably has some gold around and stuff like that. But he's a master grower. He actually teaches people to grow their own cannabis, their own home grow and stuff like that. And he's got some dope stuff when it comes to the actual soil and living soil. And actually, if you want to talk about the science of the plant, you guys need to have Jaja the Grow God on there. Shout out to Organic Green Thumb TV. That's his YouTube and all the platforms that he's on. But he actually just got his degree in cannabis cultivation as well. So he's a wealth of knowledge, and he's somebody that's super, like, I can nerd out about cannabis with that dude. You know what I'm saying? And he's also a very down-to-earth guy. He is a true bona fide Rastafari. He's a true one.
I love that.
He don't say no use. It's I and I. That's right.
He's a real one. So I would definitely get Jaja on. Shout out to Jaja the Grow God. Shout out to Organic Green Thumb TV and everything they got going on over there. But that's who I would say you guys need to hit up next and have him on here.
I wrote his name down.
Appreciate you, bro, man. And with that, that's the end of the episode. And thank you guys for hanging out. We made it.
We did it.
We made it. All right, guys. We'll see you later.